9. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
You know, I always like to kind of come down here to Vegas once in a while and, just have a good time, have a few drinks. But, there's one thing, though, that I do love more than anything, and that is to have a little bit of a gamble, have a little bit of fun. But tonight, I'm not feeling that today. No. I'm feeling the urge to see some heavy throwing, hard racing, action-packed, roll the dice runs out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And what better way to do it than with our friends at Spartan Logistic Management LLC iRacing IROC Series and their showcase of Throwback Week. It's time to go racing down here tonight. I am Christian the Crusader driver at Las Vegas, Nevada. We present to you the Spartan Logistic Management LLC IROC iRacing Series as they will fight it out on a 1.5 mile long track to see who can claim and conquer on this extremely tight, cornered, hard racing packed surface. Presented in part by our friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing and entertainment, by SimSpeechShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5-Star Graphics. It is time to prepare to go to battle. It's time to prepare to see who can catch a break and get the lucky draw. Will Lady Luck fall on their side? It's only time we find out now. Here starts our drivers on the pole. Cody Harger will be the number 1 driver in the 6.6 is outside. The 94, Troy Radford. Row 2, Brian Rose. The 89 is outside. It'll be the 3 of Brian McCann. Row number 3, it's going to be the 33. Kevin McCann is outside. That's the 81. That's Joshua Funkhauser. Row number 4 is going to see Hunter Clark. The 18 is outside. David Brown. And the number 7. Row number 5, it's Tim Schofield. And the 12 is outside. David Trumbull in the 96. Row number 6 is going to be Neil Quick. And that 2 is outside. Cook Quick in the 54. Row number 8, that's going to be Brandon Meff. Row 7 is going to be Chris Walling. The 5 is outside Jesse King in the 25. And then row number 8 then will be Brandon Mefford. And the 82 is outside Mike Henricks in the 83. The 03, my apologies. Row number 9, Vincent Short in the 15 is outside. Brian Reich in the 12. Row number 10, it's going to be Kyle Bengraf from the 14 is outside. Daniel Vieira in the 9 yeah, he's driving the 06, excuse me. Row number 11 is going to be Matt Kopp in the 22 is outside. Chris Medford in the 46. And then the final star is Ray Radford in the 47 is outside. Mike Harper in the number 4 with Dakota Clark and the 38 to round out our field here today at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And now, race fans, the time has come. It is time to throw down, get heavy, get hot, get fast. Sin City is upon us, and it's time we have a little fun down in old Sin City. Let's go racing. Here we are now. Let's go to it. $150 laps to the distance here tonight for these drivers. Everyone's going to be pacing their way around the track, trying to find some open area when they can and get the speed where they can get it. It's going to be a matter of test and patience, as well as a little bit of skill involved in this one. Our friends have joined us in now. Michael Fraz Rose saying, "Let's go 89." Got some drivers rooting on for our boy Brian Rose down there. And I'm not gonna lie as well, it's throwback scheme night, and I am apologizing to everybody up front right now. I am absolutely horrible at trying to figure out which scheme is which. So if you want to tell me in the comment section if I'm right or wrong, please feel free. But I'm not even gonna try to guess on these first two. I will say they definitely are 90s. They have to at least be 90s or 80s based the way they look, I would say. Now, I've seen that Sunoco 94 of Troy Radford's before. I'm figuring that's it's definitely at least the mid 90s for sure, maybe the late 90s. I cannot put it off the top of my head which car that one is, so I'm gonna have to leave that one unanswered. Same with the 33 of Kevin McCann. I believe that is an old school 70s style car, maybe the 80s. Although I can tell you the number 3, at least I remember that one off the top of my head. That's the Hooters style, Alan Kowicki's machine. That is one of the old the Underbirds, we like to call it, in that championship race back in 1992 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He actually had a little bit of a runoff. He actually had a little bit of a runoff on that long track in that stable position. But here tonight, obviously, he's going to have to try and bring the spirit of Kowicki to life, because he's going to need all the help he can get with how tough it's going to be to pass with these cars. I can already tell you, I spy me a little bit of a Davey Allison in that 18 of Hunter Clark. You can't tell me that ain't that old. That ain't that old Valvoline 18 machine. That is an awesome looking ride, and it's good to see that scheme still alive and well. Now the 81 of Joshua Funkhauser. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I'm not gonna say that's a Dale scheme. I know a Dale scheme when I see it later. And speaking of schemes right now, I think he might get his tore up a little bit. Gets into there with a 7, unfortunately, of David E. Brown. They managed to save it, though, coming off that corner. Turn 4, they got a little too hard and a little too aggressive, and unfortunately that beautiful usual Western Union style 7 of David E. Brown just got tore up a bit down on the track. What a tough break for him and the crew already got kind of put into that spot immediately out of the gate. Car seems alright. We'll be able to refire and run off for the rest of this go. Alright, that's 25. Oh. I believe that's I think that is a Ricky Craven machine. I believe that is the car scheme on that one. Feel free to correct me in the comments section. That's got to be Craven. I've got to be on the top of my head. That's got to be Craven scheme. The 83 of Brandon Mefford. Oh, I'm drawing a huge blank on that one. I'm pretty sure that was I'm pretty sure the number 12 drove that, but I can't even remember who drove on that scheme. So All right, the 14 Vincent Short. I mean, come on. Or excuse me, the 14 of Kyle Penraf. I mean, come on, that's definitely a Kevin Harvick style look there. Yeah, with the 14 design, that's got that style of Tony Stewart. So I know that one off the top of my head. 15 of Vincent Short. I'm drawing a blank on that one. I'm sorry, guys. 22 of Matt Kopp. I know I'm horrible at throwback scheme nights, but that's definitely a Coca-Cola scheme style on that one. I just cannot think for who drove it. 5, Chris Wally here. You see his artwork on his design, and man, I'm drawing a blank on that one. I'm gonna have to call myself out on that. Okay, if I didn't know what the 112 of Brian Reich's car though was, I would probably get laughed out the building. That is obviously Richard Petty's design there. Daniel Vieira, I'm pretty sure that was a 80. I'm pretty sure that's an 80s to a 90s design. I'm pretty sure that's a 90s design car. Can't think off the top of my head who it belongs to though. All right, this scheme right here, the number 4, Mike Harper. I'm almost for certain, guys. Ah, man, I'm drawing another blank. I know I've seen the scheme before. That was back in the mid-90s. It was back in like the mid-80s, mid-90s style. I can't think for the life of me. I'm sorry, guys. I really can't. So I probably got a few people in the comment section absolutely laughing at me right now, thinking, man, this guy does not know what he's talking about. Again, I did not grow up in this era. I grew up in like mid-2000s, like watching that stuff. I've gone back and watched older NASCAR races, so I can actually get a feel for like what it's like and how actually broadcasting work. But I'm sorry, guys, I don't know all the cars. So that's why I ask you guys to help me out. Steve Singer saying 83 was Cale Yarbrough. The 81 is Jeff Bodine, QVC. All right, thank you for helping me out here. Sunoco Baines, Terry Labonte. You know, Singer, when I think of Terry Labonte, I always think of his Kellogg's number 5. You know what I'm talking about? The 66 looks like a Dick Trickle paint. Oh, Dick Trickle. I actually studied him a little bit because I was studying about super late models in my history. And if you want to talk about a guy that in the late models industry for short tracks just completely owned and made the most money, he actually made more money than I think the Richard Petty did in his heyday when it came to that series and at that time. He was running pretty much everything and everything you can out there. If we ever catch a super late model race, I'll give you guys a little more history and facts on that one. I have studied him a little bit, so. But thank you for coming on board, Steve Singer, as well as Michael Fraz Rose. Good to hear from you as well. Dig it short, bringing it back in. Holler Boys Racing. Gentlemen, show them how it's done. Well, it's awesome to have you on board tonight. And of course, rooting on our boy, Vincent Short. The 81's a Jeff Bodine, QVC. Bodine, yep. I think there was a, I think there was like a big media mogul too that ended up having like that same scheme, but like his name plastered all over the cars or something like that. I can't remember his name now all of a sudden. And the 4 is also a Bodine paint from the 80s. So he's talking about Mike Harper's scheme here. I showed, that's the one I was talking about. That's one I just kept drawing a blank on because that's like that media mogul styles car the way I looked at it. Now I can't say as well. I missed one up here. I know there was a. I know everyone was kind of wondering when we were gonna find a Dale Jr. scheme, a Dale Jr. or Dale Earnhardt scheme. Well, there you go. There's your Earnhardt scheme. Although it's not the one most people usually see ran out on the track. That's the that right there is what I think was called the kind of that rainbow style color scheme that they ran on the Goodwrench service car way back when. I think that was back in mid 1996, 97. I never remember Dale Sr. drove that scheme out on the track for quite some time there. Tim Schofield, oh, he's definitely right. He's definitely driving that, that's that Rusty Wallace, right? Help me out here, guys. That's got to be like a Rusty Wallace scheme, isn't it? Or is that somewhere around the mid-90s? I know that much. I know Rusty had the black car there with a version style of that, but just a little different looking. And then if you were kind of wondering where was the normal Dale scheme there, well, there you go. There's the black and silver, the man in black scheme. 12 is Bobby Allison. Oh, all right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he drove that scheme, and he drove like kind of a red version of that one too, didn't he? Is he seeing you're saying, yeah, I'm 39. I saw them in the flesh. I'll shut up now. Snell Singer, please help me out, man. If you can, please help me. I'll study these guys later, but I'm having so much. It's so hard to keep up with all this. David Trumbull, that 96. All right. I can't say the name because I don't know off the top of my head, but actually, I take that back. I'm going to bet $5 right now. That is a McDonald's scheme for Bill Elliott. Singer, help me out here. Does that not look like if you put McDonald's logo on it? Is that not Bill Elliott's scheme that he ran in like even in the 2000s and stuff? I swear on my grave I've seen that color in that scheme before. Todd Tuff saying Bobby Allison in the 12 there. Yeah, I know Davey Allison. I never really watched much of Bobby Allison. I know Bobby was an extremely good driver, but Davey was always the one I remember the most. Yeah, it's kind of funny. We've been trying to figure out the schemes all day. We keep forgetting that there is a race going on. A lot of these guys are battling out, but there's the thing here tonight. Really, these drivers, they're not going to just be battling out here side by side every now and then trying to stay out of trouble. They're going to be trying to at least keep these things in one piece. And unfortunately, though, for that 0-3 and Mike Hendricks as the yellow flag flies out, couldn't quite keep the paint scheme and the colors cleared up, unfortunately. Big wreck there. Coming off of turn number 3. Looked like he just overshot it a little bit into the turn, got himself into a bad spot. Couldn't get out of it in time, and ends up costing him big time here. Let's take a look at the PTM Racing replay. That little tap there, unfortunately, on that Ricky Craven 25 style car there, and unfortunately the 0-3 of Mike Hendricks going for a wild ride. I think we all know the old phrase, race hell and praise Dale, but I don't know if that's what the line meant actually in that case. Let's take a look at the onboard camera here. This is just going to show you too how hard it is to keep these things centered off and under control. Remember, these things are very twitchy on that steering, so once you kind of get into that little tag with the wall or you get kind of centered off, it can be a little difficult to catch and save it because the car just doesn't want to save itself as easily. All this does take time and a little bit of work and the engineering down on the car, but it's going to take a lot more than that to keep these things online. So a bit of a tough break there, unfortunately, as our drivers will have to recenter and regroup. I think I got like maybe half the schemes right though when I was talking about these. I know most of the ones I've watched a lot of or I've studied a lot of in their history, but like I said, ones like that one, the 89 of Brian Rose, I for the life of me, I just stomp so bad. Debbie Rose saying, stay up there, Brian Rose. And Todd Tuff saying, yes, Elliott runs the car. Yep, I thought so. This Stinger was saying, could be an Elliott scheme, stumped me there. I really didn't think it stumped me that hard as soon as I took a good look at it. I really did. To me, it was just kind of like right out in the open because I remember I was studying about him and old Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. So I remember watching a little bit of his racing and kind of studying and then kind of figuring that out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that car. So, all right. So the two Neo Quick. Let's kind of just try to play. Let's see if we can figure this out here, guys. Maybe we could maybe we could help each other out and keep this going. But I'm gonna draw a huge blank. I really am not sure. It looks like maybe if you put the Piedmont logo on there that might match one of the cars. I could not tell you for the life of me though on that. Eddie Rose saying let's keep it up front, Brian. A lot of fans were rooting on for Brian Rose here tonight. Want to see him possibly put up some and put up a number, but he is going to head to pit road for now. Maybe looking to get himself a fresh squeeze of gas and a little bit of and a fresh set of Goodyears up on that crib. Definitely going to have a lot of work to do down there and a lot more racing to bring out. So our field ready to get fired back up, get things all taken care of here. Unfortunately, a little bit of a mishap there coming off of turn 3 for Mike Hendricks. Slows down the field, brings the pace back up into corner zones. And it looks like we'll stay under caution. Just one more go around here. Everyone wanting to kind of get fielded back in. Mike Hendricks still in pit road, unfortunately, after suffering that massive wreck. He's going to have a lot of work to do to get that thing back up to tip-top shape in this case. Brian Rose is running in 82 Mark Martin paint, and Steve Singer is the 15 is a Buddy Baker paint. I've heard Buddy Baker's name before. I never really studied him too much. You're saying he's in the 15. Where's the 15 at? There's Vince Short. So that's what Buddy Baker. So that is Buddy Baker's scheme. I'm presuming from what I was just told there a minute ago. That's a pretty nice looking ride though. Nevertheless, to me it looked like a Pepsi scheme on that one. The way like the kind of the colors blend in, the way the names are. That's kind of how I thought. Now the Mark Martin scheme though, I'm kind of surprised that he's got kind of that style to it. I always thought when I see like Mark Martin, I guess maybe I was kind of more associated with like that Valvoline schemes or the or even the ones where he had basically kind of like that black shaped color scheme and all that he got going on, or he had even in his late model days when he ran he ran that orange paint scheme. Like the white on the front and the orange in the back. You guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we're ready to field him back into position, get him ready to run him back off. 25 laps will be put into the books. But there is a whole lot more racing to go and still a stage needing to be completed. Fired him off once again. Oh boy, look out. We did not get off the line there whatsoever. Something gone wrong there for Daniel Vieira. Not out of the gate. Horrible start there for him and the crew. And the 06 is going to have to work his way around and hopefully get back on the track as soon as possible. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here. Fielding him down. 3 wide salute. You can see Jesse King now starting to move the chains in the middle, trying to push gaps through and trying to make it work there with David E. Brown on the outside. The number 7 bringing it back down low, making it stick, trying to hang in there. Troy Radford, the 94, now hunting off of Cody Harger in the 6'6", while Tim Schofield will be your new leader. Up 8 spots from where he started at earlier today. Brian McCann trying to pull the Underbird machine to the top of the mountain. Although, can we really call Brian an Underbird? The dude's got a season championship to his name. Even then, that's a Chevrolet as well. So I mean, now we're really mixing things up around here. Oh, my head's starting to hurt just by thinking about this here. For those that are not aware, obviously the Alan Quickie number 7 scheme, but the Thunderbird was obviously a Ford Thunderbird back when he ran it back in 1992, and he won when he was in his championship race. They actually had permission from Ford to take off the T and the H and just have it as the Underbird because he was the underdog going into that race. But points-wise, he was in a field day and a half and could actually have a chance at the championship after an incredible battle there with Bill Elliott and his crew there, and actually just narrowing it down by 1 lap out from pit road. He was actually able to defeat them and that whole crew for Junior Johnson. Which, fun fact there, Junior Johnson actually right after the race actually fired the crew chief right on the spot. Just goes to show you how much of a of a hard one that Junior was worked with when it came to making mistakes. You did not mess with him. Speaking of one to not mess with around here, watch out for Chris Bedford, that number 46 driver, making his way and moving the chains. And I'm probably going to get this horribly, horribly wrong, but looking at the look of that design, I almost think a Red Bull scheme on that one. Kind of reminds me of a Brian Vickers, if you will, or, you know, like when he had the 83. I'm probably dead wrong here. You guys can crucify me in the comment section, but that's what it kind of looks like to me. It's got that, it's like a Red Bull scheme. If you put that on there, and it's like the 83 style, just a little bit lighter colors than that. I know it's not for sure, but it's the best I could come up with. Firing them off down the back straightaway still, though. Currently, Field trying to face their way with Cook quick, trying to draft off him and get some push here. When push comes to shove, obviously the single file drafting is going to be a big factor for a lot of these guys on the long term versus long haul. But again, some of them aren't really trying to push each other to the limits yet. They're trying to be a little bit more under control and more relaxed on the track. Pacing the packs around right now. You can see there are two different areas here. The first ones are the top four up ahead. Meanwhile, the guys in the back, I believe, really kind of caught on that bad start there due to the issues that Daniel Vieira had out of the gate. Daniel has since gone into pit road trying to get the car somewhat fixed up, but unfortunately, I think he might be done for the night. Looked like he might have had a glitchcraft or gremlin kind of hop into that car or something pop up in the engine block and it's completely over revved and out of there. Our cameras weren't focused in on it. We're trying to get word from spectators out there, but it does not sound like we're getting any real word or for confirmation on exactly what happened. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to spin the tires here at Vegas, but for mile and a half, this is usually a track you don't need to really worry about that all too often. More tracks usually got to worry about that more often than not would be, say, like a Homestead Miami Speedway or any of the flat surfaces like Charlotte and Texas. So it's kind of interesting to me out of the gate that kind of happened as hard as it did on some of our drivers. Now on board camera here with Cody Hargo, though, and that's 66, and not only did he do a scheme up like you saw, but he's also got a little bit of that look going on in his helmet and his suit. You got to appreciate the commitment to the craft, my friends. And speaking of commitment to the craft here comes Cook quick, leading the field in and leading the charge down on around. He'll have the 33 of Kevin McCann following right behind him, trying to push him up the chains and into position. Drafting is going to be a big factor to get them right back into this if they want any chance of being able to fight it out for the stage point and the win. Problems down though there for the Matt Cobb with the 22, trying to save it down the front straightaway. Sends it into the wall protection, crashes it down. Has to try to refire it if he can. He's going to bring it down there and try to let the drivers race their way out of here. Let's take a look at the PTM instant replay, as we are now getting word for sure that Hendricks and Vieira are done for the day. They have left their cars and they are going to call this one a day, unfortunately. What a tough break for both drivers, but let's take a look at here what happened to Matt Kopp in his unfortunate circumstances. Looked like he was trying to switch from that bottom lane and back up to the top, but unfortunately he caught a very big flat spot and those tires just went spinning around on him, and that ended up costing him major time and cost him a lot more trouble than I think he was hoping for. And that was your PTM Instant Replay, presented in part by Spartan Logistics Management, LLC, and Track Time Entertainment tonight. Pace coming around the track here, in the runs, in the zone. Everybody looking for opportunity when they can to strike and looking for some openings where they can get it. Got a couple new cameras we're working out here tonight here, folks, as we continue to move through the field. Brandon Medford, we've seen the MFer before put off some serious battles and some good runs here on the track. He told us earlier today that he was hoping to get a good qualifying spot in so he can finally fight it out with some of these guys and really put up a number on them. And you can see just how difficult it is for some of these guys to kind of keep pace and keep position. They're trying to fall in the draft. They're trying to fall in the lines. They know a fresh set of tires is one thing, but gaining speeds and gaining ground is easier said than done. A track like this is going to really involve a lot of patience, a lot of skill and testing for yourself and as well as this crew. And I think they're extremely well aware of that. Dave Schofield coming on board saying, go Tim Schofield, and saying, Timmy, and the cat below. Well, he's right now riding in third place spot, so we'll see if he can hang on to that for later on. Matt Kopp finally getting out of pit road. He'll be back out on the track here as we see a huge battle ensue with Chris Medford, the other MFer, fighting it out with a Kyle Pengraff with the 14, and now even the 2 of Neil Quick now popping his name into the books. Neil Quick also trying to get that kind of maybe that might be an American Airlines scheme on that one. I don't know off the top of my head, but that almost looks like kind of an American Airlines style there. But he's trying to pilot this thing up to the front and literally find the extreme speeds, the extreme currents that he's been looking for all day long. The packs have recentered off. They've gained up, and you can see now just how much that the drafting is going to create and cause a ripple effect on these drivers. The three of Brian McCann trying to get back up there around Tim Schofield. Tim Schofield, though, is the man in charge of the top 3, and that is the last of the points get here for his crew. Robert Dudley's coming on board saying, wow, that's good to hear from you, Dudley boy. Popping their way around the track here. Every driver for position, every driver leading their way in. Still a whole lot of room and a whole lot of momentum charging in, charging through the corners. As you can see now, Troy Radford having to use a little bit of that lap traffic, maybe as a little bit of a substitute with Hunter Clark there on the bottom lane. Hunter Clark trying to keep the Davey Allison scheme in one piece and one check, but unfortunately did not end up being that way. Ended up getting kind of caught up in the madness and the other drivers fighting it out with him here. Kyle Pengraff now battling it out with Chris Medford. Medford trying to hold him back, trying to keep him away from making any maneuvers here. Significant circumstances are on the line here, with the situation being extremely bleak and extremely serious. Positions now going to be put into question as they will head down to pit road. Fuel and tires going to be a mainstay and the thing on their mind. Harger right behind Radford. Maybe now he can find a little bit of a gap, a little bit of an opening to strike it on. But again, yeah, when you try to dig down to the inside, the run here just does not give it to you. Speeds and controls are certainly extremely hard to come by, but I think more than anything, I think what's going to boil down to is, you know, can you stay in one piece? Because if you damage these things up at all, you're pretty much having to fight back from square one. And trying to fight back from square one with these kind of cars, in fact they're more designed for a pack racing ability, then it's not really gonna be a very good area. It's gonna be a very troublesome situation. For those that have tuned on in here for the first time here tonight or are new to the show, first off, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you coming on by. If you do like the show, of course, and you haven't already, just simply hit that like and follow us button here on Facebook. Head over to YouTube, subscribe there so you can keep action here. And, you know, obviously, if you can, always check out all our social media platforms so you never miss a beat, never miss a show. Veering his way around the track. And I really didn't think for 1 second, by the way, when we put out these old school schemes that we were actually going to see the Spartan style Spartan logos and everything on them. I was honestly thinking what they were going to do is actually have the actual throwbacks, you know, logos and everything on these cars. That's usually when you see a throwback kind of night. That's usually what they do. I didn't think they were actually just going to do the design and then put the logos. Other than that Troy Radford one with the Sunoco one. Or that's not even Sunoco, actually. That is Spartan. Look at the back of that. Look at that front. Look at that. It's not even the Sunoco logo on there. That's actually just committed to the Spartan logo. Like, the Spartan name and everything is on there, man. What? I don't know who did these paint schemes, but I will give them an A+ for effort and work because they did a really, really good job actually matching up to how the designs would have been and how they would have looked like. I mean, full credit there, man. Full credit. I will give them that. On board here with one of the former world champions here in the season circuit, Chris Wally. Wally won the very first season here. Not broadcasted, obviously, on PTM Racing TV. We missed that show. But the second season would go to Brian McCann, winning that one out and could not defend his title last season. Fell victim and fell short of the runs off. As for the next season, though, in season 3, we were there the whole time for that full race rounds. And let me tell you something, Aaron was just the guy. He was just a man to beat. He was the one that no one could figure out how to touch, and no one could figure out how to come out on the track. Aaron Smith was just so fast, so tough. It's kind of unfortunate we don't see him here tonight here on PTM Racing TV, but I think he very well knows that if he can get a win here, he'll be locking himself into that playoffs racing contention, and that's exactly what all these guys are after and looking forward to. William the Man Beast saying, oh, looks so fun. I have an IROC ready to go. Send invites. Man Beast, you might want to get in touch with Chris Wally, my friend, or actually I've got down below in the description. Type comment message up iRacing IROC series. These guys are, I believe, recruiting up some drivers. So if you're interested, tune in with them. Ray Radford in the 47, as well as looks like Tim Scope. Looks like that is Matt Kopp ahead of him. Are going to be put a lap down. Unfortunately, if you are not a part of the pack, then you're going to get sent to the back. That is the rule of thumb. As you see, over 30,000 fans in attendance here today to watch some hard-fought, clean-cut racing. So far, we have definitely got that and then some with a little bit of madness thrown in between. But every driver that came out here today, obviously they were looking for one thing, and that was to fight it out with the best of intentions and give themselves a bit of a chance and a half. They have certainly done that. But long-term wise, is the added effect of trying to beat it out with the best of the best of drivers enough to win it? That remains to be seen. As you can see, a little bit of trouble down there for David E. Brown, that number 7. For the record, folks, that's the Western Union Bank style scheme on that 7. Do not quote me there. I know it's Western Union. I just can't think of how if it was a banker, if that was how they play it out. And then obviously we talked about it earlier with the David Tremblay. That is the McDonald's scheme of Bill Elliott that he ran. By the way, I always loved the Bill Elliott schemes that he had with McDonald's. I don't know why, but like him and that 94 were always my personal favorites. That was what made me a McDonald's fan. I kind of wish I'd seen Mark Martin's scheme on this one, though. I'll have to look it up when I get done with this race here today, because I'm really curious to see just how that looks and how that is, because that really is like a very unique style and look to it. Lap winding down, we're approaching the halfway point, and you know when we reach halfway, stage break is coming closer to the end. And drivers may be understanding that and wanting to be a little less impatient. Look to the bottom, goes to 46, Chris Medford trying to work around family member Brandon. But unfortunately for him, Brandon does not play too kindly to that. He says there's a reason why they yell, "Let's go Brandon" around here. Whoops, I'll probably get demonetized for that one. My bad, folks. Cook quick right behind him, right in front of him here now, trying to make the change as the yellow flag flies. There is caution, and that is the stage break. Looks like across the line, Troy Radford was able to outsmart and out-maneuver Cody Harger, so he will be your stage winner in your first round of racing here. A big victory for that 94 machine. As where the heck that pace car come from? He just went through the whole field like it was nothing. Like, did somebody from Talladega again steal the pace car and just drive it around like they stole it? Flew right by it, everybody, and didn't even care. Well, while we let them figure out what happened down there, and get them into pit road, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. But folks, when we come back, there is more action to be had. There is still some more hard racing to go. We're not halfway done with this one yet, and the drivers are already pushing themselves to some serious limits. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, is presented in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management, LLC, by R&R Racewear, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you from Spartan from the iRacing IROC series to all the sponsors and all the fans that come on board here to watch these drivers duke it out at their toughest and at their best. A big thank you to them, and a big thank you to all you for coming on board. I think we had an audio there. Sorry about that, folks. I think we had an audio error there. So while we got the drivers ready to field back in today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and show it back to our qualifying laps here. Results we had earlier in this series. Again, this is what we had from qualifying. These drivers came out here with a hard charge and a hard-fought battle, but by 31 seconds, Cody Harger would win your track time award winner. So he would be able to gain some serious points there in the position-wise. And then, of course, Troy Radford, who just won a couple points here from winning stage number 1. He'll take home about 5 points in that one. 3 points going to second, and then third will get 2 points for their troubles. Brian Rose, of course, here with a strong third-place start in his qualifying times, looking to try to work off that and take advantage of it, and then some. It's going to be interesting to see how far we go with these field and these drivers here in these circumstances, in this situation, because, again, this isn't the Gen 6s. These are the Gen 7s, which, of course, most people right now just know them as the next-gen Cup cars. They are definitely designed, obviously, differently from what those Gen 6s could do. Usually you hear you can pull off a pretty good run and have to avoid. You can avoid the pack drafts for a while with the way the tires burn down, the way the steering kind of overall itself. But remember, with the way this package is with these cars and the way it's set up, it's designed more to get people to stay closer together and really qualifying meaning a lot more, as well as making sure every little runoff, little spot up you get means a little bit more here. So if you ask me, it's a little weird to kind of call it still, because I know we've done about more than a handful of these, but it's just still these next gen Cup cars. To me, it's just still kind of really make it a little hard to really judge and be critical of, because we still don't know the full extent of what these cars actually are going to do. Because iRacing, when they brought them out, you probably remember this, they brought them back out. They brought them out for the first time and debuted on the NASCAR Invitationals when they were doing all that when they were doing that little fun stuff for the NASCAR Cup drivers to actually come out and race them, and some other folks. They brought them out at Darlington and just kind of practice around and race with. And from all the testings and everything they said as well, is that yes, there are still troubles with steering, as you've seen here with our cars here today. The brakes, though, definitely a lot stronger, a lot better, and the tires themselves can handle a little bit longer, but they're just kind of a different breed that they still need a little work on. And even Kevin Harvick, I believe in a press conference not too long ago here in this week, had said point blank when they tried out the 670 horsepower package that it was actually a lot better than what they've been running in the previous couple of weeks. So who knows, maybe when we get our next big update before Daytona rolls around, or maybe even this next coming weeks here, hopefully we see these next gen Cup cars actually get a little bit of a real good makeover and some speed added to them. But we're ready to fire them back on down and get them back to it. Hey, Rose saying 1986 when someone stole the pace car. Yep. Oh, believe me, that was back at Talladega. I remember that one all the way. Speaking of driver like he stole it here, Troy Radford, I don't know how the heck he could still keep that thing up front the way he is and drive it like he stole it, but he's doing a pretty good job of it so far, as they now all pace their way back in the pack, starting to gain more ground and starting to get ever so closer into the field. 3 wide saluting around the place and around the corners here. Jesse King right in the mix of it on the bottom lane of the field, trying to build it back up. Right up ahead, though, look at the 14th, Kyle Bengraf going down low. He says, hey, let's see where this one goes. Maybe looking to trying to get that Mobile One style scheme up in the fight and in the zone. Little Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick style on that beast, and he is making it work extremely well right with David E. Brown. But the problem is the pack is starting to get on the draft, and once you lock up those front bumpers and the rear bumpers together, you best get in there or you best get left out. And Bengraf, he's going to get left high. He's going to get, well, I can't say high and dry. He's going to be left low with the, he's going to get left low and no go. I tried. I couldn't figure that one out. I'll have to come up with something a little better there. Into the single file draft now. Drivers will now have to pace their way in and start to gain more grip and more troubles for their runs later. Now it's all about pacing and just making sure you have a lane or an open area to hit off of for later on. Remember, coming ahead next week here, obviously we're here on the 2nd here of December watching Las Vegas, but next week we head down to Kansas, and I can say that Kansas Speedway, the times we have seen the Next Gen Cup cars have been very interesting. So I'm very interested to see what happens for these drivers when they get kind of caught up into that kind of a track style versus this 1.5 miles. But unfortunately for Brian Rose, he gets a full look at that bumper from Vincent Short. 3 wide salute still coming off of turn number 4. They will hammer off and keep it under control inside. Unfortunately, though, for that 25, that is not the case. Jesse King getting into a major hit and run there. Mike Harper in the number 4. Harper got sent to the shadow realm. That's how hard he got hit. He got hit so hard you would have thought that car went from heaven and back so quickly. As my friend once put it, it's in hog heaven now. That thing got smacked hard right on the left side, hit into the right corner, and yeah, I will give him credit. Credit's due. He did not lift off when he got smacked in there. He kept the car going, and he wanted to fire it back up quickly, but unfortunately, he lost so much time. The damage has been kind of done. He's just going to go into pit road and hopefully get it cleaned up somewhat. Extremely aggressive driving from these drivers, but remember, they kind of have to do that because these cars just kind of warrant that. That's how they have to hit them up. Not much you can do about it. You just got to work with what you're given and fight it out with the rest of them. Approaching halfway point now, and of course laps will wind off even closer and closer. When we hit that stage brakes, that's when I think you're going to see guys really start to test waters a little bit more, start to push each other around as much as they can. Remember, if you also look to the way those cars are designed and set, they do have quite a bit going on with those front bumpers. They have a little bit of a shielding, a little bit of a guard protection there that allows you to kind of hit them a little bit more than usual. Now, they're great for short tracks, but on mile and a half, again, definitely not worth your troubles and not worth the risk. As I always say, it's not worth the price of admission to be ruining pieces of equipment like that. David Tremblay now moving the chains up here, gets around Kyle Pengraff from the 14 as he sends him straight down to the bottom lane. Trying to draft off, though. He sees 3 wide split territory coming back up. Look at the 2. That's Neil Quick there, battling hard. Nice pass maneuvering there around the 25 of Jesse King. Angie to hold him back and pushing him further through the field. And into the muck he goes, holding on for dear life here. That's a whole laundry list row. Drivers trying to hang out and trying to keep themselves away from losing time and ground. There's not a whole lot of open area. There's not a whole lot of room down there. Oh my. David E. Brown gets a piece there from the 96. Unfortunately, that flat spot corner of turn 4 catches a big whiff of it and ends up sending him just a little too far right. Got him pretty good on the rear end. Slows him back down. And meanwhile, speaking of slowing back down, Cody Harger and the number 66 trying to hang in there with the 94 Troy Radford. You saw the 18 there going side by side for a brief moment. Hunter Clark trying to stay out of the way of the field as they will have to continue to pack him into a 3-wide slew. Lap traffic going to be a big factor here. Trying to stay out of trouble here as they continue to pace their way back around the track into the zone. Maneuvering very critical as the crowd still on their feet watching from above. Absolutely impressed so far with what they see and pretty amazing. I will say I'm pretty impressed here with how clean and cornering they've been able to keep this for the most part. Remember, we're still trying to figure these things out as much as they're trying to figure them out. So the more they keep working at it, the more they keep racing it, the better it gets here. Generally speaking, when you ran this track in, you wanted to try to run more towards the bottom lane in those Gen 6s, but in this case, well, the bottom lane's kind of out of the question. It's kind of beyond the point. You're pretty much fighting it. You're trying to fight a multitude of things, which is just trying to move around drivers and trying to build speed up around the packs. Teamwork is definitely a critical eye and a critical moment here for anyone that wants to make a move here. You get a good look at that multicolored up design, Dale Sr. scheme of the 54 Cook Wick. I almost come like the 80. I don't remember what it's called, but I always considered it like the 80s scheme there that he just kind of like that, like an out of control, wild colors look. Man, that was always one thing I loved about seeing those kind of cars back in the day. They certainly still stand out right here, I'll tell you that much. This throwback night certainly has been an absolute throwback, and it's pretty cool to see some real different variants and colors out there. Now, I'm not saying I don't like the new school styles they have out there, far from it. I think those look just as good, but as a broadcaster, I will say when you're watching these very colorful cars go around track, it's like you don't really have to read the number too well. It's like you can at least know who's who. Certainly helps me out a little bit, I'll say. Oh, but that's not going to help him out anyway. Kyle Pengraf getting tangled in there with Kevin McCann. Both drivers spinning on the back straightaway. Big wreck between. Whoa, watch out down there for that 7. David E. Brown avoiding trouble and escaping the situation. Huge lick there, unfortunately, coming down that back straightaway. Let's take a look at the replay. Might have had a 3 wide salute engagement. McCann had a great run here. Pengraf, though, brought it slightly down on the 33 and ended up kind of getting both of them caught off guard. Not a whole lot you can do from that angle and that spot there. Again, you're trying to work in a multitude of factors and trying to work in a multitude of racing. Here, look at it. Lots of 14, brings it slightly down. McCann's trying to hold his line, brings it up a little. May have miscalculated how close that bumper gets. So field is going to stretch back around and back into position. Bit of a tough break there for these drivers and a bit of a tough break for everyone involved in that one. So off of pit road wise anyway, there's going to be only one that decides to stay out, or a couple of them I should say. Tim Schofield will be one of them. He's trying to get his lap back. Past halfway and really just kind of marching through the field. Still more racing to be had. Also, last night I got a lot of messages about this, and we have read your We've read your comments and your questions about this. We did post on our Twitter link though about last night for RTC and Pro Series. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the broadcast in with them. They had contacted us right at about the 11th hour, and said unfortunately they did not have the sufficient drivers as well as anyone able to go out there and race with them. So unfortunately, they had to cancel that race due to unfortunate circumstances and due to technical difficulties on their end. So we do apologize in advance for not being able to broadcast WWT Raceway here for the RTC iRacing Pro Series. We certainly hope, though, next week that we will be able to get them in and get that race on track and back on point. We do miss seeing them, and we do miss having them on board. I know a lot of you fans out there were kind of wanting to hope to see them as well, so we do apologize for that, but like I said, guys, that's why you got to follow us up here. You never know what's going to happen, so we're always posting somewhere around here. So we'll wheel them back into place and back into position here. Our field ready to stretch this one up again. Still a lot of hard racing, hard fighting drivers out here, and that's one thing you love about the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC series, is that they always have something at the table and always something at the helm, and they want to prove it wherever they go out on the track. They've been pretty clean cut so far in these first parts, but they are not anywhere near done. We know they will get a lot more aggressive and a lot more crazy here. We're going to lead them back off the charge, back into the front, and into the green flag we go. Time to get back to the racing. These restarts are going to be a very critical part for any of them to really work off of, because, again, depending on where you're at, where you're in position, it could be either a frantic restart, like you would see in the Formula 1 cars or in the IndyCar series, or it could be an all-out maddening shootout from start to finish. On the restart zone, look out for that 89. Here comes Brian Rose from the outhouse, sending it straight to the White House. He wants the hard charge. He wants to fire him up. Remember, if you're a hard charger, you get an extra couple of points in, and you get a win in the stages, you get points. If you have the fast lap, you get points. That's what it's all about, and these drivers know that too well. Next week, I promise you folks, we'll have the point system and all that up as well on our show, so you can see where everyone's at in that place and regarding. We didn't have time to get them in for this week here, unfortunately, so we do apologize for that. We're looking at the best lap here, and this may come as a bit of a shocker here, but David Tremblay is actually the fastest driver right now with a 30.34. So not only is he rocking the Bill Elliott scheme, but he somehow has Bill Elliott's pace, somehow has his pace, control, and speed down there. He is the fastest charger he is the fastest driver of the night, not the hard charger of the night. That honor goes to Chris Medford, who right now the 46 is piloting his way back in to make a move up on Cook Quick and Troy Radford. Radford knows he's going to have to watch that draft behind him, as well as Cook Quick. Cook can just literally leave him high and dry and take over his spot if he's not careful here. This is where positioning and control comes into play. Again, it's very similar to Talladega Daytona style racing, where blocks are key at times, and making big moves in the right place at the right time are extremely important. With the chains down below, look out up front, look out for here. We got a problem there from Brian McCann. The number 3 trying to make a big move off there. He got caught in a bad spot. Couldn't quite get it to stick, and unfortunately, he ends up getting the bumper for his trouble. Sent to the inside and out of the bar park he goes. Manages to keep the car in one place, at least one place though. I'm kind of surprised he was able to really avoid the trouble as well as he did. He had a pretty good qualifying time, starting back in the 4th place spot earlier today, but that was back during qualifying. Right now in this race, it's been a complete difference maker and an opposite for him. The two of Neil Quick right on the inside zone, moving up, trying to fight it out with Brian Rose. See if maybe he can get something going there with him, as well as the 83 of Brandon Medford. Yeah, Medford right now trying to move up ahead of Harger and then get up to family member Chris. But Harger is almost kind of the gatekeeper of the front of the top half. He's in the top 5, and you can see now a little bit of movement, a little runoff. Look like they're going to try to work each other up on the outside. Little draft partnering here. They're going to give it everything they got. Jesse King will engage the run. Neil Quick trying to do up there as well. You can see they're moving up quickly. And yet again, the blockades begin. Drivers trying to not get in that spot or in that runoff. But look at the bottom lane shootout down for the run from Harger. Harger making a great maneuver around the 46 at Chris Medford. And Medford not able to stabilize it and keep himself ahead. He was not able to get back down the bottom quick enough. He'll lose his top 3 spot as Brian Rose now engages into the 4th place, moving him back. It's double trouble there, unfortunately, for Chris Medford. Brian McCann, despite that damage in the rear end, has not seemed to be phasing him too much on that aerodynamic of the car. Trying to use up his momentum with Jesse King. King right now has a bit of damage on that front end, unfortunately. It seems to be slowing him down just slightly here. Down across the chains into the in front zone. Look at Tim Schofield blocking it off here. Medford looks like he might put a little bit of a side corner panel in there. Doesn't do it just yet. And Cook Quick and Troy Radford now have been gained up on by the leaders. They may be leading the pack, but that doesn't mean they won't try to knock them out of the pack. It's like it's like a bunch of ravenous wolves coming right at you. You just don't know where to go. It's like if you try to go one way, they'll just catch you on the other. You try to jump out this way, you try to jump out to the inside, and there's nowhere to get out of if you get into a trouble spot. And look at this now. The 94 of Bradford opened the door to the inside and leaves it high and leaves it up high and dry. Look like maybe he's trying to get ready for a pit stop here, but unfortunately he'll lose the race lead. Cook Quick is the new leader, up 11 spots. He is not the hard charger still, though. Chris Medford has that beat by about 5 spots. If he can move him back a little bit, may be able to get a little bit more of a field day here. Just received word as well here from Five Flag Speedway. One of the drivers unfortunately got into a bit of a bad situation there. So from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, we just want to let them know real quick that anyone down there involved in that wreck, our hearts go out to you, and we are wishing you nothing but the best. Hopefully you'll be okay. It's up. If you guys are wondering what it looks like here, you can actually go to Racing America after our broadcast here. They actually have the crash and all that in full gear. It's a gnarly one, I'll just say that. That's what I know. I hate bringing that stuff up on PTM Racing TV, but when I hear one of our fellow drivers out there got hurt or something bad happened, we always just want to make sure they get word out there and they get a little response and love and support from the community. So whether it's the real world or the Irish community, it doesn't matter. We're always here for our people. We're here for the drivers and as well as our fans and friends. So final laps now positioned up. 50 laps left to go and still a stage break left. So now coming to that last end. Once they hit that stage break, it's going to be a big deal and a big shootout here for these drivers and a big little runoff here for many of them to try to fight it out. Brian Rose, give him credit's due though, man. This guy has literally had to muscle his way from the outhouse and push it straight back into the White House. And speaking of doing that too, apparently Troy Radford's like, monkey see, monkey do. And he wants to get a runoff here as well. But he's got in a little bit of a troublesome spot, trying to use Chris Medford as a little bit of a drafting partner. And now he's going to have to deal with lap traffic into a 3-wide salute in between. Has to go around Mike Harper on the end from the middle spot. Manages to sneak his way around. Was the meat of the sandwich, but he was the tastiest of it all because he found the opening and got out of it quickly. Pack starting to really push up forward here. A little bit of movement coming from the back from Brian Reich in the 12R with the 15 of Vincent Short up ahead of him. Vincent's had a bit of a bad field day when it comes to his work on the 1.5-mile side of things. At Play Tracks, that's a bit of a different story. He's made an impressive showing from his crew and his team. He said earlier today he wants to keep doing that and keep transpiring that wherever he goes. But he said in order to be confident and make sure we keep on with that momentum in that run, he's going to need to really start paying more attention and really get more aggressive out with these guys, because these guys already alone are just tough to master and tough to beat. Getting word also right now that we just got word that the driver was out of the truck and is okay from that wreck, so thank the Lord for that. That's good to hear at least. Saw a little bit of a wreck earlier on. Everyone was involved in. Everyone's still okay, and for the most part still have their cars in one piece, although there have been a few that had to unfortunately leave the race tonight due to some troubles down there. Coming down, around, a little bit of movement, a little bit of travel. Everyone's starting to push things up a little bit here. Maybe see if they got something coming up for it. Down on that turn number 2. Look out for Radford here. He is starting to gain some ground, get some travel on that bottom lane, but he just needs more cars to work with him on the draft, and maybe he might be able to force these guys up top to really think about this just a little bit. That's kind of the hard part about being in this situation, in this circumstances. You're trying to fight fire with fire, but you're also having to fight off a car with another car, and look to the bottom yet again. Sending it down low. A little trouble there for Chris Medford, though. Big problems there for Medford. He manages to save it. Good save on him for bringing it back down and back on around, but huge mistake nevertheless, as Brian McCann moved up a couple positions here and got back into the top 5, but he's still a good charge away from taking over the race lead. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to top the 54 quick with the way they're going. They're going to have to find a bit of an equal footing and even keel shot. And again, they're just going to have to kind of team up a little bit. They're going to have to kind of put these things a little bit closer together. I really hope that these will be enough to make a move and make the run when it counts most. And you get here a few of them too. They're backing off in the corners a little bit more than usual, and they're backing off a little bit in the straightaways. They're not trying to get them too close on the draft. They're not trying to get them too close on the runs. That's really a tire saving strategy that I'm hearing. I'm really seeing. Piling them down around the back straightaway here. Look at this, some more momentum and more runoff coming. You see a little bit of travel from Brandon Medford. He was looking to gain some on him, but it was not enough to get anywhere in position to overtake. Cody Harger backing off even more. You can see he's setting him up for the big run. Remember, that big push comes when you back off just enough, and then you want to straight send it into him. But once you get a little too close, that dirty air really affects and maintains grip of the car. That's why when you're trying to hit up and hit it hard, man, it can do a lot more than work. Openings looking, trying to find something. Any kind of chance really. I think that's all I really want to know. Is there any chance? And I think when we get, I'm gonna make a bold prediction. When we get to the final 12 laps, I predict we're gonna see a few drivers try to go middle and top and bottom side with a double line run. And I have a feeling eventually somebody gets a little too assumptuous, a little too greedy with maybe about 8 or 7 to go, and they'll probably hit it up on the outside for a 3-wide salute. And I'm not saying that I have a crystal ball where I already know what this is going to happen here. Again, we're live television. You don't do broadcasting on PTM Racing TV without it being live. This is kind of hard. This is kind of hard to really grasp. Kind of hard to figure out. This one's because again, these guys have been really doing different kind of maneuvers, different kind of runs all day long. Even the guys back here have been doing the same kind of ideals, same kind of strategies that we saw with a lot of them here, and they base their runs and base their momentums. Let's take a look at our pit strategies here, and you can see that again, caution laps be darned, that really helps them out here, and it actually will help them out even more so than usual because now the caution has finally flew for our stage break. And there was just no catching Cook quick, man. The 54 had that one dialed in, and he is going to be your stage winner. A solid 10 points will be given to him for that win there. A bit of a big break there for him and the crew, and I think now more than anything, he's going to be paying very, very close attention on the rest of this run and on the rest of this field. But will he be able to make it last out just long enough for a full-on green flag race run? Will any of these drivers be able to catch him or outclass him or outdo him? Pit strategies are going to be key and they're going to be crucial. Will it be enough? Find out when we return. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management, LLC, by R&R Racewear. Be sure to check out their link. Be sure to check out the link in the description to check out all their latest product line, as well as the official sponsor of iRacing and the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC series. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing Loud Pedal for your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. By Track Time Entertainment, proud sponsors of the Track Time Award for the Pulse Setter. And by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you from the iRacing IROC series, as well as us here at PTM Racing TV for their support, as well as your support down in the comment section and in the fans here below. Without you guys and without anyone that really wouldn't be watching this. Here's pit road strategies coming into play now. Cody Harger gets the start up. Remember, he was your Track Time Award pole setter. He's got a couple set of tires going on there, trying to make it work, trying to get out of there quickly. Look out for Cook Quick, though, coming out of pit road. Been a lot of speed. Harger, though, it's a drag race there. Oh, it's going to be Harger getting a better Cook Quick off the pit road. So Quick is going to be put into the top side here on the restart. Interesting go around. Brian Rose managing to hold this third place spot, and fourth to Neil Quick. Deja vu, you know, you saw back in that final race in NASCAR at Phoenix, and it was that final pit stop that made Kyle Larson pretty much get the jump and the spot he needed to win that race out. Is this what Cody Harger was looking for this one? If it is, that's going to certainly put a few drivers in the test and put them out there. Interesting playing field here. It's going to be very careful. We'll see what happens. Pace lights gonna come off next time on by. Remember, folks, this is a throwback scheme kind of night. You will see the original IROC scheme and colors back here on PTM Racing TV come next week. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But here at the moment, everybody involved in this race, they only want one thing now, and that is to just move the chains and move ahead. They'll have only about 30 laps remaining. You might as well call that a 20 laps to the shootout zone. A lot of wild racing, a lot of old school style racing, if you will, with the new school cars, if you may be. But every single one of these drivers, man, they gave their heart, they gave their soul, and they did what they needed to do to prove they could beat it out with the best of drivers. So here it is, race fans. 30 laps to the distance. Final stage in play. All points on the line. And for Cody Harger, if he can somehow walk away with the W here, he's going to pretty much have all the points that he wants and then some. He got bonus points from that stage 2 snot. He managed to keep himself in play with a good run there. He gained 6. He's already got 1. From that pole set, now looking for the full 40 off the restart zone. Back to the action, back to the runoff. We're getting down and dirty here at Las Vegas. It's time to roll the dice and gamble up a few points and gamble up a few positions in order to make it big and strike it hard here in the season 4 running of the IROC iRacing series. Troy Radford right now trying to hang on to that outside line, get up there with Brandon Medford. You can see the drivers are completely changing gears, changing strategies. This is not what you saw earlier where they were a little more under control, a little more dialed back. No, that's long gone. This is where they're going to pretty much put everything on the line, put everything at play if it means getting a W here. Dakota Clark, the 38 machine now having to work it out there with Brian Reich's 112, the 12R of kind of that styled up Richard Petty scheme you see there as he gets a little too aggressive coming out that turn 2. Wasn't quite able to hang on there and keep it on the track surface. He ended up finding himself in a bit of a bad spot, a little bit of a rut area. Russ Medford and Tim Schofield now even going to do a little bit of a tussle, a little hustle. I don't know if they want to do it too much though, because again, the guys behind them know that they need to get things working a little more in their favor. Schofield giving her everything she's got up there. Brian McCann trying to give it something, maybe a little bit more so than usual. McCann is looking for another season championship. He's done pretty good so far this season. No surprise there. But again, when you got guys like Cook Quick and Cody Harger taking up the show and really changing things up a bit, this is certainly what these drivers were looking for and what they aim to get at. Only the best can take down these cars, and only the best can hang on with these cars, and they are doing that and then some here. Like we talked with Chris Wally not too long ago, he said point blank, these cars are the true equalizer. He was not kidding. They are more than just an equalizer, in my opinion. They are a new foundation. They're almost a brand new way of life, a kind of a new wave of what maybe the future lies ahead. I know what I said, kind of some pretty big words and some big deals, but I mean, when you look at it, is there any other way you can really think of it? I mean, you can see how quick Cook is getting in those corners, in those turns again because of that power and that base of the draft, but his downfall is he's not able to get enough of a runoff to swing it to the inside or just go straight for the outside run. There's just not any room down there. Onboard camera here at Schofield, as you can see how he maneuvers around the track, trying to deal himself in a little bit of a rough spot or two every now and then. Brian Reich, a little damage there on the left side there. His corner panel definitely slowing him up a little bit off the pace. But remember, we saw earlier, even if you got like no hood on and you can still pretty much keep that draft in your front end. The car pretty much will do the rest for you. It's a bit of a saving grace kind of mentality, but I mean, if it works, it works. That's the way we always were taught. Brandon Mefford is looking maybe to sneak his way in the inside zone real quick. It's kind of hard to really guess the strategies of them because again they're trying to figure out whether or not they want to make a maneuver or not, or if it's too little too late. Eventually you have to do something. You can only wear your patience in so many times before you're just like, man, if I don't do something now, there ain't gonna be a lot of run later for me to get into it. Caution lights are on here. We got a problem down here, unfortunately. It looks like a little bit of some carnage and some wreckfest action here for Brian Rose. The 89 comes to a dead crash and hauled, unfortunately. Take a look at the PTM instant replay. It looks like it was kind of caught off guard here off our camera end. We had another camera down there watching from the distance. And it looks like Tim Schofield and him kind of collected each other coming off that end. Looks like from my angle there, looks like Brian might have been a little too close for comfort. Maybe kind of into a bit of a rough patch there, if you will. Again, that's the deal you deal with when you're coming out with these things, is you're having to just hope for the best and hope to stay out of trouble. This was certainly not what he wanted to see, and I guess there's one cool thing about it. At least he managed to get some pretty cool smoke flares in there, but the 89 is definitely badly damaged, but he's going to keep it out on the track. So kudos for him for trying it out and going to fight it and going to stick it out to the end. But will that be enough to hold out? I don't know, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, it may not be suitable for what he's after. Well, we'll have to pick. Well, we're gonna have to get these things kind of cleared out a little bit and figure out the rest from here. But from the look of things right at this moment, really, it just could go any way. It could go a lot of other chances here. So much wild, frenetic energy paced around. Again, a lot of guys kind of living by the code of Sin City. You got to gamble your way with the best of them, and you got to roll the dice once in a while or play your cards right in order to make the best out of nothing. Top 5, Cody Harger, Cook Quick, Neil Quick, Brian McCann, Chris Wally. A who's who of drivers looking to only win this one out. So here it is, race fans. They'll bring him back around out of turn number 4 this time by 15 laps remain here at Vegas. Let's get back down to business. Off the restart zone. All drivers trying to get to the bottom quickly, try to shoot the gaps when they can, find openings where they lead into. Look at this on the back straightaway though. 3 wide slow, maneuvering back behind. Looks like Troy Radford had to find himself in a bit of a bad run or two here. Some company moving in between. Chris Medford trying to get back into the fight. Brandon Medford though, family member moving in the middle with another 3 wide slow around David Brown, the 7. David's had quite the showing with that 3 wide slow, as well as a little bit of a wreck damage on that car today. Seems to try to be evading and getting out of the trouble zone when he can, but he knows there's a lot of company coming in between. Brian Reich, the 12R now for the first time tonight, puts himself in the top 10. And now looking for more. He's been saving the car up all day long. Now he's going to try to unleash it at the best of times. Not a bad idea, not a bad strategy here in this case. Jesse King even, he's got himself a little bit of a get-go and a little bit of a troubleshoot. He finally found a little bit of an opening and a bit of a runoff here. The pushing and shoving will really come more towards the back straightaway than anything. You'll see a lot of guys trying to give that one extra little kick boost, that one extra little hit or two to make them maneuver around and get some major openings or shots when they can. It's easier said than done, of course, but when you can get it done right, you can get it done perfectly. Timing is extremely everything here. Back right around on the back straightaway now, and it looks like a little bit of pushing and cupping it up from Troy Radford. Just trying to put his machine up ahead and put it right in the fight zone. Brian McKinnon gonna help as well. You see King pushing him around a little bit, trying to draft off him. Gotta be careful about getting too close to that corner panel though. That rear end corner panel could be a bad spot to get yourself into if you're not careful there. Cook quick watching from behind, looking for an opening around Harger. Harger has been hogging that race lead for quite some time. Remember, he was a track time award pole setter, and now he's trying to hang on just a little bit longer. Back into the pace, back into the zone here, double filing him up. Look at this, and remember what I said earlier. I think I might have called it on 10 to go. They were going to do this. They are doing this. This is exactly what I was predicting. But it looks like they don't want to stick in it just too long. They feel as though they can't do it that way. They're going to try and draft off harder. Wait. Hold on. How did Chris Medford sneak his way back into this? Where the heck did Chris Medford come from? He was literally like 7 or 8 cars back. He just jumped through the entire field. Ah, but they're going to be wrecking a little bit. Coming up, it's turn number 2. Big wreck right there. It's turn 2. Chris Wally, Jesse King wrecking badly there off the exit. And unfortunately, entry-wise, they were not able to bring him back into place. Major damage out for these drivers. What a hard wreck. Let's take a look at the PTM replay. What happened here? Looks like David Brown got collected in there. I believe might have took Brian Reich. Take a look at it from another angle here. I believe might have actually been up with the 2. We'll take it from our far chase cam. Yeah, looks like this was Neil Quick he gets into, unfortunately. And it looks like Neil just brought it right down, and that's actually where the madness started. That's where it all kind of clambered in and just kind of got everyone all tip-top and out of shape. We're going to take the onboard camera here of Chris Wally, and I feel bad for him here, man. He just can't catch a darn break. We've done 2 seasons here on the show, and I've yet to see Wally get one good break when it comes to getting into that top 5 or getting a win here. I really feel bad for this guy, man. He just can't catch a break. That's just how quick things change on you, man. It just changes on a dime. You don't even realize it happened until it's just too little too late. Car is in pit road, and remember, they don't have any fast repairs down there, so what they're giving is what they're dealing with. Very much treated like normal NASCAR, like a normal race out on the circuit. It's not like you could just go and get a fix it, get a position, get a new car out there and race it out. You have to race what you're given on the feature events. So it looks like our drivers now have finally come to this point, come to this moment. And now we're going to see what happens when things get really crazy around here. You may notice that lap counter, folks. There's only 4 laps to go when they go green. You might as well consider a green-white checker to these cars, because these guys are going to have to push, shove, and put everything on the line if they wish to win. Here we go. Restart zone initiated, and it's time to bring the drivers back down on the track. It has been an absolute wild, chaotic night of racing, and it's going to get even wilder. 3 wide salute. Top cap off the night. But cherry on top of the Sunday may just be coming. We got 3 laps to go if they can get it back around. 3 wide salutes still continuing. And look at the race lead. Look out down there. Here comes Chris Medford. Tries it ready to cook quick out of turn 4. Drove it way too hard in it. Cook quick gets sent to the shadow round from a major incident there. Oh my goodness. The 46 of Chris Medford coming out of turn 4 hits the flat spot and may have just overextension that car around. I don't think he realized where he was at in time of position, but good Lord, did he take a hit for that one. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I thought he was going to clear it out. He was going to get it good. It's hard to say from that angle of Cook went down on him, but we do know one thing. He got in there with Medford, and when Medford collided with him, that's when everything just completely hit the fan. And I don't think it hit the fan worse than more than I think whatever Ricky Thornton Jr. said in his interview. I'm still trying to find that out, but I'll definitely we had an interview these guys right now. This will be interesting. Yep, right there, Medford, he drives right up and he just gets into it there. And what a big wreck and ordeal, unfortunately. Cook quick. Stage winner number 2. And unfortunately, he gets kind of sent into a bad pack here. What an upset and what a troublesome shot there for him. What a wild, wild race it has been today, my friends. It's been a wild night of racing everywhere. I mentioned a minute ago that RTJ review. I know I've watched Ricky Thornton Jr. racing down there, and I'm very curious to know what the heck that interview is about down for Flow Racing. Somebody give me a link to that or something. I want to see this. If you want to give me if you do have the link, send it to PTM Racing TV's messenger, please. We'll take a look at it there, or just simply go ahead onto my Twitter and just at ShriverChris38. You can tag me there, help me out a little bit. But also, of course we talked about that a little while ago about the 5 flag situation and big racing there and a lot of stuff going down there. And unfortunately, that big wreck happening. But then of course, you got Gateway going on right now. Super Late Model drivers just driving it out hard. The midget drivers and everything. And then, of course, you got the absolute maddening madness that's going on right here now with Spartan Logistic Management LLC iRacing IROC series. Just all around, today has been the night of motorsports. It has been the night of power. And this has been certainly one for the record books. What a wild, crazy day it has been. And the funny thing is, I really don't even want it to end. I just want it to keep going. I want to watch more. I want to see more. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but it's just been too much fun. Well, we kind of caught our breath here. Still a green-white checkered attempt coming up. And a whole lot of madness in between to come out of here. The field is set. Will we be able to finish this one out? And is somebody going to play their cards right? Or are we going to see another roll the dice maneuver here on this restart? All I know is there are some badly damaged cars out there. But if you can stay somehow in that draft and keep a little bit of position, you may be able to finish this race out. Someone has to blink though, and someone has to give it up. Which one will it be? To the restart zone. Harger will get the jump. But can he hang on? He's going to have to hope for the best here and hope that these guys don't get around him here on these final corners. Looking to the bottom lane. Here comes Brandon Medford. Oh, look at the charge. Look at the run coming off the bottom. Brandon Medford with a huge run. Building up the speed and building up the gain there. Brian McCann follows right behind him. Medford gets around him. No. Harger blocks. Harger hangs on the outside. Medford's going to have to deal with him on the inside. They'll fire him around to the white flag. Harger with the slight edge on the corner stretch the front straight away. The white flag is out. Harger might be able to hang on here. Troy Radford trying to push, trying to shove, give her everything she's got. Which one's going to give, though? Brandon's going to lose a lot of time here. Brian McCann not able to hold him up. They'll bring him down the back straightaway down into turn number 3 and to turn number 4. Radford now looking to go down low. Harger blocks. Harger blocks. Going for the run up on the corner 4. Radford to the inside. To the finish line. Troy Radford by half a car length will take down Cody Harger. What a race. Unbelievable. Troy Radford with the move of the night. Swings it straight high, bring it back down low. He says, hey man, let's see where this one goes. And the victory lane she takes it to. What a race. Oh my. You love to see it, but at the same time, when you're on the receiving end, you hate to deal with it. But for Troy Radford, he had a trouble pretty much half across the country just to even get to this race. Traveled all the way from PA. Descended to victory lane here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Give it up for Troy Radford. This man certainly put on a show and fought to the very end of this one. Harger deserves a lot of credit for this matchup and this round of racing as well, but in this case, not enough to hold back the power and the speed. And that final corner, Radford just got him. Here is your race results now popping up on your screen, presented by Spartan Logistics Management and by SimSpeedShop.com. Troy Radford. What a race for him, man. That was a maneuver and a half. 0.03 of a second is the difference, and that will send him to victory lanes. Cody Harger, a strong showing from him. He'll come. He's gonna show up there show a little respect there to Radford. This is just great sportsmanship by these drivers in this league. Is well known for that. But Brandon Medford, he'll come away third. Great showing from him on the last restart. Brian McCann, great racing all around for him. Good to fight him out. Fifth to Vincent Short. A solid effort from him, but just not quite enough. Sixth to Brian Rose. Seventh to Brian Reich. Eighth to Kyle Pengraff. Ninth to David Brown. And 10th to David Tremblay. Great showing by everybody. And kudos to Brian Rose, by the way. He got caught up in that big wreck earlier, and yet he still somehow comes away with a solid finish in the top 10. But folks, let's get down to business here. Let's have a listen in with our top 3. He joins me in now, your third place finisher in the number 83, and the tying of the hard charge of the night, Brandon Medford in the 83. Brandon, congratulations first off, and what an absolute clinic on that last restart with you and the other two.
Yeah, thanks, man. I don't know about a clinic there. It looked like Troy did that to us, so But it was a fun night. Had a blast. These cars have a lot different to offer, so it's just insane.
It certainly was indeed. I know, obviously, you really had to kind of keep it close, keep it cornered off there. Obviously, Vegas very tight in its battles here, but at the same time, you had to work around a lot of moments, a lot of work, and a lot of workarounds. How tough was it to really kind of get this car to get out of those packs when you had to there?
Yeah, really, if you didn't have a couple guys helping you, then I mean, you weren't going anywhere. So a few of us tried the bottom lane there, didn't work. That middle lane, if you couldn't get to somebody's high side, then you were just a sitting duck, basically.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Brandon, obviously a top 3 podium finish and one step closer to the ultimate goal, which is the playoffs and then the championship. It certainly seems to be that case for you and your crew, but who do you want to thank here tonight for this top 3?
Yeah, I want to thank my Falcon teammates. And, missing a couple tonight. Well, Doug, anyways, but Dougie, hope you're having fun on vacation. I see you're watching. But I want to thank Zoe's Place. I usually carry that on the car. And then Spartan, Chris Wally, R&R Racewear. Everybody that puts the league on, and then all these drivers. It's a bunch of us are some tough competitors, and we hate losing, we hate wrecking, and but at the end of the day, we all really like being a part of this league, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So thank you for the broadcast, bud, and we'll catch you later.
We appreciate your time here, Brandon. Thanks for the support. We certainly hope to see you next week, my friend. Brandon Bedford, ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher here tonight. Let's take it down now and talk with Cody Harger. And, right now we're going to hear it in here from Cody Harger. He joins me now here as he says he's going to stay in the car here. He's going to try to pull a little gateway on us here. But, Cody, before you throw our RTJ interview at us here, man, what a race and what a battle from the start to finish, man. You won the Track Time Pole Award winner here. Then you set the world on fire with some great racing throughout. Stayed in the top half in the top packs, but this last run off of corner 4, Radford just got right by you and stole it from you. What were you thinking there?
Man, after that last caution, I lost all the help that I had. Was working with the Quick brothers tonight, and they were awesome to race with. But I didn't have them there on that restart. I had raced a little bit with Troy earlier in the race, and we seemed to work well together. So figured I was just going to jump, get in front of him, but I knew I was going to be a sitting duck out front like that. And I saw him kind of hanging back just a little bit on that back stretch, and I drug a little brake pedal, and I tried to turn down and stall his run out, but at that point it was too late, and it was either hold my line, maybe try to drag race him to the line, or get aggressive and block and probably end up on the hook. So I'll take a second place. I'm proud of it. Pole, like you said, I don't think I dropped out of the top 4 or 5 all night. Stayed up in the top 2 or 3 for damn near the whole race. So, hell, it's a good night.
Yeah, it certainly is a good night. It was a wild night of racing. Not obviously, as we mentioned here plenty of times, from all fronts, and everywhere we go. But here at Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing Series here on PTM Racing TV, it was certainly a lot of fun to call and see to the end. So, Harger, as we try to conclude this night out here, and you obviously are going to have to take this one over to the next week at Kansas, who do you want to thank you for this second place finish?
Yeah, 100%. I want to thank Chris Whaley and everybody with the league, the IROC League. I like racing with these guys. Thank you to the league sponsors, Spartan Logistics, Sim Speed Shop, TTE, Loud Pedal Gaming. Glad to race for a league with those great guys behind it. Personally, I'd like to thank again the Quick brothers for allowing me to work with them. The guy that I normally would race with, Bobby Hamilton Jr., couldn't make it tonight, so I was frantic to find someone that would work with me, and the Quick brothers, man, we got along great, so that was awesome. So thank you to them. Not sure if my dad's still watching, but shout out to him for watching and always supporting me. And thank y'all in the broadcast booth for allowing us to relive these fun times.
Absolutely, indeed. Well, Harger, appreciate you coming on board here tonight, man. Congratulations on another solid finish here.
Tempo, bud. Take care.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody Harger in the 66, your Track Time Pole Award winner and second place finisher, only to the man that literally stole it off of turn number 4. A solid victory and a trip to victory lane for this man. Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Radford. He joins me now here in victory lane. And Radford, I said a minute ago, you traveled all the way from PA down here to Nevada, and you certainly did not disappoint. What a final corner you had a pole, my friend.
Thank you very much, man. It was a great race all the way around, and definitely worth the trip down here. So, glad to be locked into the chase, move on, and good solid race tonight.
It certainly was indeed. Now, talk me through this one. You had pretty much found yourself in either the worst or the best of situations from start to finish. You had a few times where you got kind of put in the back, then you found a way to drive the car up, and we talked earlier about how hard it is just to even do that. And when the cautions kind of started flowing, did you think on that last green-white checker that you really would have that kind of an opening that you got there?
We knew we were going to have a chance. I mean, me and a couple of guys came down and took 4 tires there on that caution. I think it was like 15 laps to go. Just because, we're all kind of sitting there all doing the same thing. And I said, let's take a chance. So I think I restarted 13th and moved up pretty quick. But just the way it shuffled out, last corner, just set him up. I knew I had to send it down on the bottom because the high line wasn't going to get it right there. So sent it down. He blocked. As soon as I went down, I showed him the high side, knowing I wasn't going to take it. He took the bait, gave me the inside, and I was able to scoot by. So, awesome race.
Absolutely awesome indeed. But Troy, man, I believe this is the first time this season we've sent you to Victory Lane. I think first time, I may be mistaken, but I think it's the first time we've ever had you in Victory Lane on PT Race TV. But you've certainly put on a show and put on a number, my man. So I gotta ask you, who finally got you to Victory Lane?
I can't thank my sponsors enough: Evidence-Based Mommy, National Kidney Foundation, as well as Lucky Finn Project. All the guys over at Falcon Motorsports, and of course, just a big shout out to Cody. Finished second. Me and Cody had a great race all the way around. I think the first stage I beat him by .03, and then got him by .03 again for the final. So, definitely a good, clean racer, and had a lot of fun out there with him.
It certainly was fun to watch the very end of it all. So, Troy, as we sign off here at Vegas, we appreciate you, sir, and congratulations on a win here at last on PT Race TV.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Radford, the number 94, your race winner here on the show. And what a race, man. What a day it has been. Awesome night of action. Awesome day of racing. The motorsports community in the iRacing world truly cannot ever get enough of this. And neither can we with our sponsors, of course. Thank you again to our friends at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time, Entertainment, and of course, 5-Star Graphics. All of you guys and everyone that watches this, we can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for your support, folks. We love you guys from the bottom of our hearts. And until we see that green flag fly next time on PT Race TV, we certainly hope you've enjoyed it. Go back and watch some of our old stuff we've got going on. We got quite a few great races in there. We certainly hope you enjoyed this one, though. We'll see you soon enough here on the show.